you should have done that, is what Newsom said on stage. Can you just address that? And what actions you actually took when you chose to take the office? What were you legally required to take? And maybe why you didn't do a blind trust, or maybe you did, I don't know.
Well, no, we looked at that.
Sorry, Zach, just give me a second. I just want to say this because you're not going to say this yourself. But I remember when you were going through this, you were so concerned about the perception of a conflict of interest that you took such extraordinary measures about the degree at which you were selling things and getting rid of things to make sure that you could do the job cleanly and wholly. I watched you do this, and I watched you do something that I thought was so over the top. I'm like, holy shit, you really are doing this for the fucking country. And I was so shocked and surprised by it. And I just want to say that because I've observed it, and they still came out with this piece, which was so shocking to me, given what you did.
So you guys know what I went through because I was LPs in some of your funds, and you know that I divested them, which you could argue was above and beyond the call of duty, but I was just trying to avoid any potential conflict. And that, I think, is the central lie of this piece. Not only is the piece not true, it's the anti-truth. Because the truth is that I divested hundreds of millions of dollars of positions in promising technology ventures at a substantial cost to my net worth. So not only is this job not benefiting me, it's actually cost me a lot of money to serve, but I did it because it's an honor to be asked by the president to serve, and it's something I wanted to do, and I thought I could make a difference. So the whole premise here is just false. And the New York Times, through its 5 months of investigations, knew this, but they just refused to budge on the premise of their story. Now, to your question here, if you look at one of the key paragraphs that, Jason, you mentioned, is when they try to mention that I have 449 investments tied to AI. And they say their investigation uncovered this, and some of their reporters on podcasts have tried to portray themselves as Woodward and Bernstein here, having uncovered these positions.
Yeah, how did they get this crazy list of companies, I wonder?
I disclosed them. They didn't uncover them. I disclosed them. They're in my ethics letter. So they're publicly available
to everyone.
They're on the White House website in my ethics letter. So every government employee, whether you're a full-time or SG, files disclosures with the government. And my ethics letter is basically contained these pages and pages of all these different positions. Now, in that ethics letter, they said that I had initiated or completed divestment of over 99% of the positions that could pose a conflict for AI. And it's in there. And this is where I think, again, they were very deceptive, is it was the OGE, the Office of Government Ethics, the career civil servants, the lawyers, the accountants at OGE who approved that letter and all the contents of that letter, who reviewed all those disclosures. And they're the ones who concluded that I did not have any conflicts. So really, what the New York Times' beef is with the career civil servants at OGE.
Maybe walk us through what you actually did do. Why you didn't do the blind trust, and help us get the context there.
So on the blind trust, so it's kind of funny. One of the New York Times reporters was talking about this on a podcast, which is where I think Newsom picked it up from. My ethics lawyer, who teaches a course on conflicts of interest at Harvard, said that reporter should really take his course because he would actually learn something about the conflicts laws. The blind trust idea is rarely used. And in my case, it would not have worked because I have minor children. You can only use the blind trust to have your kids be beneficiaries if they're adults. That's the way the conflict laws work.